They call me the Great One. I have to admit, it's a title I've earned. Herod the Great, that's me. I was a great military strategist, even in my younger days with the Roman army. Great successes, great military achievements. They even reached the ear of Caesar and his generals. Served me well in my later days. I'm a great builder. Now, I'm half Jewish, and I know about Yahweh, God as we call him, and all of Yahweh's achievements, creating heaven and earth, scooping up the valleys, creating the mountains, separating the sea from the dry land. But Yahweh didn't build any of the temples that I built. He didn't build any of the palaces that I built. That was me. In fact, my favorite temple, the Herodian, was built just outside Jerusalem, looking down over a little town called Bethlehem. And it had to be up on a hill. But Yahweh didn't put a hill there. I put the hill there. I picked it up and moved it so that it would be in the right place. And now, from the portico of the Herodian, I can look down and see Jerusalem. I can see Bethlehem. I can even see the shepherds tending their sheep. Well, that one seems to be having trouble with his headgear. I hope his wife weaves him a new one. The sun gets pretty hot out here. Yahweh didn't provide a seaport to control the trade routes. I built the seaport. I put in the sea walls. I built the piers. I created the buildings, the monuments, the amphitheater. Yahweh didn't do that. I did that. And I was smart enough to call the seaport Caesarea Maritima. You know, it never hurts to stroke the ego of the emperor, especially after that Mark Antony incident. I'm also a great ruler. Now, the historians will not be kind to me. I know that. They're going to want to talk about the sons that I crushed and the conspiring wives that I had put to death. You see, when you're a ruler, someone is always out for your throne. There's always someone trying to take power, and you've got to be prepared to deal with that. But I hope they also talk about the peace. I established peace in Palestine just like in the days of David and Solomon. It was a long peace, it was a lasting peace, and that was me. Although it was a bit of an uneasy peace. And I have to give you an example so you'll know what I mean. One day I was in my home in Jerusalem, and my servant came to me and said, "There are 3 strangers from afar, foreigners from another land. They're wishing an audience." My first thought was, are they armed? Are they dangerous? No, he said. They don't seem to be, and they look like they're on a peaceful mission. So I invited them in, and I asked them why they needed an audience with the great Herod. And they started to tell me an amazing story. A story of a star that appeared in the sky, and in their belief, a new star in the sky meant a king had been born somewhere. Wow. I started to think about the star that must have been in the sky when I was born. I bet it was magnificent. The brightest, most beautiful star in the sky. Anyway, then they asked me a question which troubled me greatly. To put it mildly, it almost drove me crazy. They asked me, where is the baby who was born? Where is the baby who is to be king of the Jews? King of the Jews, I thought? I'm the king of the Jews. What is this? But I controlled my temper, and I said, I really don't know. But I think I can find out. So I asked my servants to go throughout the city, talk to the temple priests, the Jewish leaders, get their opinions, and come back. And they all agreed that the baby would be born in Bethlehem, the city of David. So I thought to myself, I can use these strangers to my own purpose. They were in haste to leave. I bid them farewell, but I asked them, please come back and let me know where you find the child, so that I may pay him homage and worship him just as you." Well, several days went by, and they never returned. And I knew how long it'd take to go to Bethlehem and back. But I talked to my staff in Jerusalem. I said, "Please let me know when they come back." And I came up to Herodian so that I could keep an eye on the situation. Well, more days went by, and more days went by, and I realized they weren't going to return. And I was furious. How could they, me, Herod, the king of this land, how could they turn their back on me? So I started pacing and wondering and thinking, what am I going to do? Who is this baby? Who is this child who's probably going to be used by conspirators to rise up against me? I've killed conspiracies before. I'll kill this one now. I must find a way to keep this king of Jews from coming. But how? And the more I thought, the more I realized there are only about 300 or so people in this little town of Bethlehem. I've got more soldiers than that here in my garrison. I should just wipe out the whole town. But I am a merciful ruler. And the problem is really just a baby. There's no need for the whole town to be wiped out. I just need to kill all the babies. So I called up my king of the guard, I gave them the order, and I watched as my soldiers rode down into town. Night was falling, so I was able to watch as the lights came up, one by one in the houses as the soldiers arrived. And I thought I could hear a small, muffled wail from time to time, but it didn't take long for my soldiers to do their work. It was a difficult time getting to sleep that night. I kept wondering, did I do what needed to be done? Have I stopped this threat? Have I kept this baby from rising up, growing old, and taking down my throne? And then I thought about all I'd achieved and my legacy of accomplishment that will last and last, and the buildings and the monuments that will stand for centuries. And I was at peace.